All right, we got a truck spacing, passenger side high mount alternator bracket. See if we can zoom in on this. From Chap Performance. Chap Performance.
Alright, so here's the bracket, where we ordered it from and how much it cost.
All right, we got some directions, bolt sizes, the directions. We got 4 bolts, a couple of nuts, a couple of washers, and 3 spacers. And then this uses the, I think that's an LS1 idler pulley. I'll put a picture of that pulley. You have to buy that separate. I'll put that right here.
So in addition to the bracket, you have to get this Daco 89245 drive belt tensioner assembly.
But yeah, let's try to go off these pictures and put it together. Oh, and I forgot to mention there's the bracket. So let's I've been putting the Vortec Rebel on that, and I'm making a video of that. But I had one of the ground wires for the injectors and coils right there, so we'll take that loose because for sure it goes. Well, maybe it don't go back that far. We'll see. All right, so you gotta watch these bolts. These are SAE thread, standard thread. And these are metric, and the way you tell is right there, M10 by 80 millimeter. So I just measured them, and those are 80 millimeter. And then these other ones are 3 inches, which come out to about 75 millimeter. Yeah, a little bit shorter, but yeah, they're the shorter bolts. Those are the shorter ones. These metric ones are going to go with these. They're going to go through the bracket here, and then through those small spacers right there into the water pump. All right, there we go. It's on. Then we're going to take this 8 millimeter, screw them in. All right, there we go. And those are countersunk some. They're not countersunk all the way. Hopefully it clears that piece when we get it. There we go. And then the starter, the alternator is going to use this big long bolt, and then up here, and the spacer. And then up here it uses one of these shorter bolts, one of them bolts. One of those nuts. Oh, actually, no. It just uses the spacer. That one must go into the head. It does. It goes straight through into the head where we got our ground wire, so we're going to have to move our ground wire up one. Alright, Jacob's opening up the alternator box. We got to put that on next. Now, boys and girls, you know you got a good quality piece. A good quality when it says bracket instead of bracket. You know you got a good quality piece. But anyway, we'll put the starter up there, or I keep saying starter. We'll put the alternator up there, this bolt, that shim, and that nut, and then this bolt, that piece, spacer, and then that one's going to go straight through the head. And here's our Amazon alternator we're about to throw on there. Alright, there we go. It's in position. I actually had to loosen these two just to get that spacer in there. And then that bolt goes through that hole. It's a metric bolt. It goes through there. I don't know if that one's metric or not. It says it's not. I guess that's the only one that's not metric. No, wait, this one ain't metric either. So you got to be careful with that. 38-16. So you got to be careful with that. If you go to screw one of these in one of these holes, because they're almost the same size, it'll probably either go in too easy, or I don't know. I didn't check that. All right, there we go, guys. Everything's all tightened up. And then once we get this piece, we had to order separate. That's where the last bolt, nut, and washer are going to go, and I'll go ahead and put those in. There we go. The washer will go on the outside this time. That's per the picture. When we get that piece, we'll get that. We'll measure the belt size, and we'll put it on. We'll put the belt on. But how straight is it? It looks pretty straight to me. Looks pretty straight eyeballing it. Yeah, looks pretty straight. We'll see for sure once we get the belt on. Alright, we got the Daco 89245. Here it is. These two pieces right here are going to stick in those two holes to the left and the right. And then the bolt and the washer are going to go through the front. The nut's going to go on the back of the bracket. Alright, there we go. I was afraid it would hit that bolt down in there because it sticks out like this one does. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it does clear it. Plenty of adjustment. Something that I found that works perfect for measuring these belts is these little Harbor Freight ratchet straps. I just took the ratchet part off, and that's how the belt's going to route. No, it's not how the belt's going to route. That's how the belt's going to route. And I know it barely engages the water pump, but that's plenty enough to spin that thing. It spins easy. And then just make a mark right there. Then we're going to measure that to see what our belt length is. Alright, it came out to 49 inches, but as you know, we didn't have this adjusted down. So we're going to take an inch out of that. We're going to go get a 48-inch belt and see if that works. 48 inches. Alright, so on these belts, this is the inches. 48.0, and then 48.5, 49, and then K6. I'm not sure what the K stands for, but the 6 is the grooves. But I should have stuck with 49 because this one's a little too short. Let's go back and get a 49. This is a little bit of trial and error. Luckily, the parts store is just like 2 miles down the road. I wasn't sure if we should try a 490, 49.0 inches, or a 485, 48.5 inches. That other one was just a little bit too short, and I know a little goes a long way. So hopefully this works, because the next one, they don't have a 490, but they got a 495. I think a 495 would be too big, so hopefully this one works. Alright, round 3, we're going to try a 49.5 inch. I know when I did that measurement like that on my car, the one I 5.3 swapped, the 96 Camaro, if y'all follow the channel, you've seen that. But when I did that with the with that strap, I either had to minus a half an inch or add a half inch when I did that on my 96 Camaro with a 5.3 swap after measuring it with that strap. So hopefully this will be the right one. Alright guys, that one fit. There's where the pulley was at resting. There's where it is with the belt on. That'll work perfect. Nice and straight. Third time's the charm. So yeah, it was add a half inch. You do it with this, with that at rest, measure that, and then add a half inch. And that's the way it did on my, I know on my 5.3, when I did that, I either had to add a half inch or minus a half inch, and I forgot which way. I thought it was minus a half inch, but yeah, you measure it with that, add a half inch, boom, there you go. Woo woo.